Hello, good morning, and welcome back to the Aligned Podcast. This is the post-ASC event podcast. It was an amazing weekend. This is a place where we have open and honest conversations about personal development, chiropractic, life mastery, and business. Tom, what an amazing weekend.
It's a great weekend, wasn't it, dude?
Absolutely loved it.
What were your big take-homes from the weekend?
So from my perspective, it was how many people need to share more on social, how many people need to get themselves out there. And I always see chiropractors as like confident and outgoing and like in control, and they are, but it's surprising how many people still hate being on video for me. Yeah. It was awesome to see you up there doing your thing. And watching people watching you and hearing the things that people said about you. So yeah, it was just super inspiring. I recorded the testimonials and people were saying that it was the best all round chiropractic event they'd ever been to.
Nice. Well, that's what we aim to do. And I think we just gave so much that weekend.
Yeah, so much.
Even if people don't follow up with any of the other stuff that we offered, like their practices will change and lives will change.
Yeah.
And you just think the ramifications of that, like my vision is to see a billion people under chiropractic care. It was a small room, but if each of those people can affect 1,000 lives a week, then it's just huge. The ramifications are huge. Yeah. Do you want to hear a funny story?
Yeah.
So I don't think I've told you about our drive home. Maybe I have told you about drive home.
No, I don't think so.
So I saw you in the service station, didn't I?
Yeah.
So just while I was who I was on the phone to when I saw you was Lewis, my associate. Lewis.
Right.
He's like, Tom, I've run out of petrol. I'm 3 miles from the service station.
Oh, no way.
Dude, first of all, that's not in my values to run out of petrol.
Yeah,
It's not prepared at all. No. So he runs out of petrol 3 miles from the service station, calls me, he's like, do you have one of those jerry can things? I'm like, no. Can you come and get me? I'm like, no. Because it would mean going up and back and up, and I'm trying to race home to my family.
Yeah.
So God's got a great way of telling you did a stupid thing. So I hung up the phone, felt a little bit guilty, got in my car, closed the car door. The locking mechanism breaks on the car door, so I can't close the car door.
No.
So I'm like, shit, I can't close the car door. What am I meant to do now? So luckily I had some straps in the boot, and I had to strap one door across to the other door to keep it closed and drive home at like 50, 60 mile an hour.
Really?
So I was tootling home. He was stuck. So both of us on the way home managed to mess up.
How did you run out of petrol? I don't think I've run out of petrol since I was about 17.
Dude. I just
Lewis,
don't get it.
if you're listening.
Poverty mindset to not have a full tank of fuel, in my mind.
Yeah.
Like if it starts to get by half.
Half tank, yeah, me too. I usually run full to half.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you know when I started doing it was when I first created a bounce bag. Like shit happens, I grab the bag, I've got a fuel tank of fuel, I can go.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, has to be done. I don't have a bounce bag, maybe I should get one.
Just get yourself a gun and a knife.
Yeah, I've always got a knife. Do you want to hear a funny story? Okay. So my mum's, for those of you who don't know her, she's like about 5'4", 5'5" or something. And she's like Bear Grylls in a woman, isn't she? She like chops logs and she lives on this. She's got like this paddock of land and she's like built her own house and she's like an amazing woman. But one thing about my mum is she always has a knife on her. So we went to Harry Potter World once and we go through these scanners and there's this little lady there and she looks all nice because she dresses up real nice when she goes out. And then this guy opens her bag and goes, "Is that a knife?" And my mum's like, "Oh shit, yeah, it is." And she's got like a switchblade, like a locking knife. Well, she went to Nottingham at the weekend and the same thing happened again and she had to bin her knife because she was going to watch Mickey Flanagan. She goes to my cousin, "They're not going to check my bag, are they?" And they went, "Oh, you haven't got a knife, have you? Joking?" She was like, "I don't know." Opened a bag, knife in the bag. She's always just got a knife with her. And she had to bin her knife. So she's funny. But yeah.
So let's keep going. One more. A friend of mine is in the special forces, and he had an issue bag, and he was going off somewhere. He's like, "I can't take my issue bag with me because it's very obvious that it's military." So he's like, "Can you swap bags with me?" Like, I said, "Sure, here, take my day sack." And I swapped him. And then I was traveling to, I can't remember where at the time, maybe Spain, I think, to talk or something. And you know when they wipe your bags for like gunpowder?
Yeah.
like, sir, have you been around ammunitions recently? I'm like,
no way.
Well, I don't fucking know.
Probably.
Take my bag, take my life.
Yes.
Anyway, what are we talking about today? We digress so much.
Today, we are going to talk about getting outside your comfort zone, because one of the huge things about this weekend at the ASC event was I did my first talk, and we spoke about it recently, and it was me really stepping out of my comfort zone. And I was nervous on the run up to it, and actually before we got on, I was just pumped. Like when I knew it was coming up to it was like quarter of an hour to when it was going. I wasn't nervous. I was just like, yes, let's go. Then I got up there, hit with nerves.
Yeah.
Then I got into it, and I was like, I fucking love this.
But that really shows, because you see, and I think I said after it to people, like, all you need to know is your first line.
Yeah, you did, yeah.
And that gets you in. But it just showed how that acronym for fear, false evidence appearing real, was exactly what it is. Because as soon as you got up there, you could tell you were nervous. You started your first few lines and you were looking down. And then once you got into it, you were just in flow.
Yeah.
And there was no rational reason to be nervous beforehand.
No.
Which, highlights the fact that we should all be stepping into our comfort zone, because probably once we're in it and through it, it's nowhere near as bad as we thought it was going to be.
Yeah, and one main thing that I want to get across today is to do not wait for this. Do not wait to step out of your comfort zone, because in my talk, I showed a video of me from 9 years ago when I first started to talk on video. And it's taken me 9 years to get from there to here, which is a long time. And if I'd have really grabbed it by the balls and gone in and then just really put in the work, because I've done it over a longer period of time, but I wish now that I'd compressed that and put in all the work that I've put in there in 6 months or a year or 2 years, and just think where I'd be now. And hindsight is always 20/20, but this podcast is for you, our listeners and our viewers, to learn from our mistakes. So that was one of the things that I wish I'd done.
It's absolutely, like, that fear really, it paralyzes people, really stops people from achieving, what they want. Someone asked us on a live podcast, didn't they? Like, what do you think the fear of death is? Or someone said that, didn't they? Along those lines.
It was Jack, I think. Yeah.
That podcast's going to come out soon, which is amazing, like the live recording. But it was really that fear of regret is more the fear that we have when we come towards death. It's not the fear that we're just going to leave this planet. It's the fear that we haven't managed to achieve what we wanted to achieve. And it's just, I don't know how to stress it more. Like, just do it, because it doesn't actually seem that bad once you're on the other side of it.
No. Sorry, go on.
So, and I think if you really boil it down, we worry because of the opinions of other people.
Yeah.
And I think that's the main thing that stops us from actually going. And that's why public speaking is such a fear for so many people. And we had you and Jack did his first talk that weekend, both of whom rocked it.
Jack's was cool.
And just putting the pressure on to force yourself to do something. What I like to do with something like this is I like to shoot first, ask questions later. So book yourself to do the thing that you're afraid of doing. Yeah. Just simply, maybe you know what it is now while you're listening. Just press pause, go and book it in, and then you have to do it.
Yeah.
And then you'll realise it's not so bad on the other side.
Commit to it. And you'll hear a lot of people say, when you first start to do public speaking, and when you first start to do this, you will fail. That is not true. Not always. If you've put in the work, and if you're talking about something that you know and that you love, I couldn't have come away from that weekend happier. My talk was not perfect by any stretch of the imagination, but in no way, shape or form did I see it as a failure.
And I think the only reason we really fail with situations like that is because we're trying to be somebody that we're not, or talk about something that we're not. So, you're trying to profess to be this expert in a field. Like, you could come really unstuck if you go up there, and you could fail. Yeah. But for those of you who are listening, every single one of you has something that you're really good at. Like, even for the chiropractors that are listening, I said this on the weekend. Like, you can throw an x-ray of a low back up in front of someone. So you put an x-ray of someone's lower back and their pelvis up, and it looks like this spine with this sort of big bit of bone at the bottom that's the pelvis. The amount of times I've had patients look at that and go, is that my head? Thinking that the pelvis is their skull.
Yeah.
And it's jest, but it's not to belittle the person who's asked that question. It's just the simple fact that That's not their genius. They have no idea what they're talking about.
And your point is that it's very easy to assume that everybody knows what you know.
100%.
And I am guilty of this so many times. I think about the videos and the ads and all the stuff that I do, and I just think, well, it's not that much to it.
There's not, and I think that's why.
And it's because I've put in the years of work into it. To me, that it doesn't seem like there's that much. But then when I was talking up on stage, I had to explain a few things a few times because people didn't quite grasp it because it's not their area.
Yeah.
And if they were talking to me about the human body, I'd be the same.
And that's one of the things that's a simple tip, or on a tip on public speaking, is that when you say a point, you have to say the point over again and slow down and let your audience catch up. Yeah. But like oftentimes when we're moving outside our comfort zone, it's because we're leaning into who we really are, because we're leaning into who we want to be or actually what we want to do. And we're worried that we're going to lose something or people's opinions about us will change. So we've been this kind of person for so long in our lives. Like we've been the straight-laced person who shows up in a shirt, who treats people courteously, who would never step out of line. But we have this burning desire to tell the truth. We have this burning desire to actually I just don't want to go in a shirt today. I want to show up as me. I want to be who I am. And it feels uncomfortable to do that. But as soon as you step into that, you actually realize that when you show your true colors, you actually get the people who resonate with you to vibe with you. Yeah. And that state of being is so much more comfortable.
Yeah. And you only step outside of your comfort zone for a very short period of time, and then your comfort zone expands to where you are. And then you just got to keep stepping outside of it. So you're not like outside of your comfort zone and then you're like living in fear for the rest of your life. Your comfort zone expands, and then what you thought was like when I finished my talk straight away, I was like, when's my next one?
But what's happened here is a dangerous reset. And I think when you step outside your comfort zone, you do it more. What you're actually learning is to be more comfortable being uncomfortable. Because if you step out your comfort zone to elevate your life to another level, of which you then reset your thermostat and become comfortable, then you're just in the same place of mediocrity and never achieving. So you've got to keep going. Yeah. So I think it's becoming more at ease in the discomfort to continuously push yourself to grow and progress as you move through life.
Yeah. And this isn't obviously just about public speaking or getting on video. This is about your habits, your relationships in the gym. So like I'm guilty of doing the exercises I like in the gym. I did squats with you at the weekend. Yeah. We must have done 200-300 squats.
Yeah.
And it's now Tuesday morning and I still can't walk properly.
But that put me out my comfort zone too, because we started off doing that.
Yeah.
And Robin, who listens to this show, fucking hell, we started off running and I look at him and I'm like, I used to run like you. Oh, yeah. You know when someone's just jogging, they're like running on air and then they jump up on the curb and then they jump back down and then they accelerate for a little bit and slow down for a little bit. And I'm there like, I've only got one gear. Like I'm trying to keep up with you in first gear. And it just made me think, I am out my comfort zone here and I need to do more of this because I've just been guilty of just pushing weights for
and if you are that person who runs like that, then get in the gym, lift some weights, like do the things that you're not good at.
It's a good example of being outside your comfort zone because people are like, oh, I don't like the gym, I'm afraid of the gym.
Yeah.
But no one goes into the gym and then leaves thinking, I hated that experience. So you have to push into that discomfort. And again, it becomes more comfortable. And then you move into what we've just said there. Like, then you start to vary your training and such.
Yeah. And it's about what you make up in your mind, what you think other people are going to think. And it's like the multimillionaire will never dig on you for starting a business. The person who's ripped to shreds will never take the piss out of you for starting the gym.
Yeah.
It's the people who are lower down and who you're making feel uncomfortable by them seeing your habits. They're the ones that will say, oh, what are you trying to do? Be Mr. Universe, or you're trying to start that business. Why don't you get a real job and all that shit? So you'll never see someone who's successful in the area you're trying to be successful in.
And I think that's another part of getting outside your comfort zone is to understand that you'll change who you're associating with. Like, and that'll be uncomfortable to be on your own. Like, there's this, Andy speaks about it, and I would say we're both in that stage of like that lonely place in the middle. Before you elevate up to the point where you're with, you're around and with other people. So that's another area of your life that will become uncomfortable. The fact that you will be spending more time on your own. The fact you will be doing things that other people look at you and go, that's a bit weird.
Yeah. And
until you find your tribe.
Yeah. And if you don't like meeting new people, then get outside of your comfort zone, because I can't express how much it will change your life by spending your time with people who are trying to do the same thing as you and trying to actually accelerate their lives and become more. It's so important. Yeah. So important. Anything else to say on comfort zones? I'll just touch again on chiropractors. And if you listen to this and you are a chiropractor, you are the expert in your field, and you are the person who your community look to for answers and advice and information. So if you're feeling uncomfortable getting on video and spreading the word of chiropractic and speaking to people on social and on the website and things like that, just start recording videos. You don't even have to put them out. I said at the weekend, I've got hundreds of videos probably that I've recorded and just didn't put out, but it's those videos and those reps that have made me able to actually make videos and put them out. So if you're a chiropractor and you're listening, please try to get on video, try to talk about chiropractic, try to teach your community all about chiropractic, because it's going to change the world.
It is going to change the world. And then I think one sort of practical application that people can take away of this being uncomfortable is to make a start. And I'll give you an example. Sort of on the weekend, we finished the first day of the Saturday. It was intense. Tired. We went for dinner. Had a conversation with a few people, and I retired to my room and I was about to go to bed. Opened my inbox to find that I'd had 5 emails from Sarah. Like, she's outside her comfort zone. Baby's asleep. She's knackered. She's working, and this notion of, if you really want to progress forward, you've got to do one more thing outside your comfort zone. So instead of going to bed that night, I was up late answering those emails, and then again last night, back off the course, a full day in practice. And I knew I had to get that email out to people following the course. Yeah. And I could have just turned in, but I've got to do one more thing outside my comfort zone to just help grow. So the practical thing from here is to think, what is that extra thing outside your comfort zone that you can do right now, today, that will progress you forwards, and just get on and do it before you even think about it. And that will predict you moving forward. And that may well be picking up your camera, recording a video. It may well be taking some of the videos you got and scheduling to go live. It might be booking the thing that you know is uncomfortable for you, just to get yourself going and make a start. Yeah. And I've created a free course for chiropractors on how to create videos, so I will link that below in the description of this YouTube video and podcast. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you, Tom, for joining me and for the weekend. Have an amazing day, everybody. Stay aligned, and we will see you in the next episode. Oh, if you haven't shared the show, please share the show. Please leave a review and subscribe on YouTube. Have an amazing day. See you soon.